All right, Charles. So can you tell us a little bit about your what you call your supersize experience?
Well, if you've never seen the movie SuperSizeMe, I highly recommend it. A man decided that he would test his body's response to 3 meals a day at McDonald's. And after 30 days, the doctors were shocked by the experience. In fact, they recommended by the 21st day that he'd stop doing it. Well, what it inspired me to do was see what would happen if someone really healthy did a similar program, just eating cooked food. So after being about 2 years strictly raw living food diet, I decided I would go to my nearest naturopath, get a live blood cell analysis, a complete check over, find out where I was at, and then eat cooked food for 4 days and see what would happen. So I went down there with my camera in hand, and I said to this local naturopath, and after he pulled my blood and saying it was the cleanest blood he's ever seen, and he asked me what I was doing there, I said, I'm going to do a quick experiment for the next few weeks here and test to see what happens before and after of me eating cooked food. And his response was, well, don't worry about it, nothing's going to happen. Come back in 2 or 3 months and we'll check you out again and see how things are going. Like a normal sort of doctor's response for a health check. And I said, well, listen, it's my $50, what do you care? So I'm gonna do this anyway. So I'm coming back to see you Monday morning to do another test. Will you just speak into this camera and tell me exactly what you see? He said, not a problem. So I come back Monday morning after eating typically what a vegetarian fare would have been for me a few years before that. Stir fries and muffins and pastas and regular vegetarian cooked meals. During that time though, I did have 1 omelet and I did have a beer. And specifically, I didn't drink a lot of water for the 4 days. So I came back Monday morning after 4 days of eating cooked food, not feeling very well. In fact, I noticed by the 4th day my addictions to cooked food started already come back. And I went in there, he pulled my blood and started looking at the analysis, and he was shocked. And he says, what did you do? And I showed him a list of all the food I ate and everything I did for the 4 days. And he said, there's no way. You took heroin, didn't you? And I said, no. And all of a sudden, he got really quiet. And I realized even naturopathic doctors didn't understand what the cause of disease was. So I was a little surprised myself. But I forced him to keep talking into the camera, explaining what he saw on the screen. Even after 4 days, from a really clean blood slide, 4 days earlier, all the red blood cells actually started to coagulate, start to collect together, get stuck together. Some of them actually started to disintegrate. There's huge fungal forms in there, all sorts of other things where shows the body's response in stress, and little worms started to form in the blood already called phthalates. And he was speaking all this out into the camera, and I was shocked because I just ruined tens of thousands of dollars worth of work over the last couple of years. So I was a little concerned, but I went back and I said, okay, I'm coming back to see you in a week, and we'll test this again, see where I'm at. So I went back, went on our optimal health program, and I came back 7 days later, and was shocked to find my blood was even worse. And of course the question was why. So I called up one of my mentors and he said, well, it takes about 6 weeks for your liver and your blood to really clean out all this dirt. So I say to people now, if you go in on our program, and a lot of people do come to us who've had extreme symptom situations, even cancer and things like that, and they'll feel really good after 6 or 8 weeks of doing this program, and then they'll go out and see their doctor and see if they have cancer anymore. Well, of course, a doctor does blood tests on them and finds that all this extra dirt and toxins are in their systems, and they get really upset with them. Say, "What are you doing?" And they say, "Well, I went and talked to Charles and started eating enzymes and things like that." And the guy says, "Well, is he a doctor?" I started getting lots of flack for those situations. So I recommend to people continue on the program and not worry about what other responses are from different blood tests, because the live blood cell analysis and your process of cleansing is going to take a while. Take a few weeks to a few months to really cleanse all the stuff out of your system. So I went back home and I ate 100 capsules of probiotic bacteria a day, 100 capsules of enzymes a day for 5 days, and ate about 6 shots of wheatgrass a day and just lots of water. So 5 days I did a real strict program, and my blood just started to clean up after that. So even though I forced this situation, I realized that within a couple of weeks you could really clean up the damage you've done for 4 days of cooked food. However, how fast the body started to deteriorate after 4 days of cooked food was amazing. It was astonishing.
Well, it's fascinating to me that you started with a clean blood sample, and after only 4 days you had all these problems.
Yeah.
What does the blood look like of people who've been eating a traditional Western diet for 10, 20, 30, 40 years?
Same as my blood did after 4 years and worse.
It's amazing stuff.
Yeah, it was shocking.